Good evening, good evening, good evening. And this is your servant and Senator, Carla Joseph, welcoming you to another edition of my radio broadcast, On Point, which is heard every other Tuesday right here on 1340 AM WSTA, Lucky 13, the People Station, from 6 to 6:30 p.m. Well, you know, I love to be able to share information and matters that concern you and highlight the work of people and organizations in our community. And tonight is no different. I'm going to definitely be highlighting the work of someone who has done a lot for our community so far, and especially in one of our strong industry, and that's the marine industry. Our special guest this evening is Ms. Oriel Blake of the Virgin Islands Professional Charter Association. Tonight we will discuss some of the work that they do along with upcoming events for the community to enjoy. Welcome, Ms. Blake, to On Point.
Thank you, Senator. It's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Good. I am so happy to have you here. So before we even begin our conversation, I want to highlight something. And this month, the month of April, is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Wow. Its purpose is to raise public awareness about sexual assault and educate communities and individuals on how to prevent sexual violence. The theme for Sexual Assault Awareness Month for 2024 is Our Voices Have Power. Together we can build safe and respectful communities. This campaign emphasizes the importance of building connected communities to reduce the likelihood of sexual abuse, assault, and harassment. Sexual assault can take place anywhere in neighborhoods, workplaces, campuses, organizations, or online spaces. That means TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, any place where people come together constitutes a community. I plan to have a special guest to discuss this on Point in the upcoming program. So that's fantastic. Now, legislatively, you know, I am so excited, immensely excited to announce and to let the public know that 2 of my legislations where I spoke about previously were passed at our last legislative session on March 25th. Wow, I was so excited. The first, of course, is Bill number 35-0226, which actually is a fantastic bill, which in itself is going to do something totally awesome and give an opportunity for our people to commend a gentleman who has done such great things in the Virgin Islands, and that is actually, it is 226 is not the number of the bill, is 35-0223, I'm sorry, an act renaming the William A. Industrial Street. That's the street right there by the Weeks and Weeks Bakery. That street, that portion, in his honor. That great man did so much things. He he's a bishop, and he actually, at no cost, he never took a dime from the church to spread salvation. He said salvation is free. And also he would go out and really talk to a lot of the people in the Savannah area regarding Jesus and bringing salvation. A number of young people credit him with really bringing them to Christ. I remember one young lady at his birthday celebration on March 3rd. She really spoke so highly about the bishop and how he helped her to start a whole spiritual movement in a school in the East End, high school in the East End, which I'm a graduate of. And I remember that time also, Ivana Eudora Kent. So he really was, being a disciple. We just celebrated Easter, and he was just being a disciple, sending out other people, preaching, but he accepted no money for it. And he built a church right there in the Savannah area. And he also was able to provide transportation for his parishioners to come and leave church. He would pick them up. And this church is Christian Unity Church right there in Savannah. So I'm really very proud that I signed off today to attest to the president's signature, bill number 35-0223. And I'm so elated about that. Now, for the other bill, because I know I had two of them. I said two. The next bill is 35-0226. That bill in itself is a major game changer, and it deals with paternity and child support. I know I'm a single parent. I know how important it is for single parents who have custody of their children to receive support from their non-custodial parent. But we have some individuals here who avoid it. I don't understand why. They didn't avoid having the opportunity to procreate with you, but now the children are born. They don't want to support the children in a level that they should be. And they will say, I am not turning in anything, and then they're going to only charge me $250 as a penalty. So we increased that penalty to $1,000 for the first child and $150 for the second child, to penalize them so that they could bring in their financial information to the Division of Paternity and Child Support. If they don't bring it in, they are going to be penalized $1,000. And that financial information and documentation, and even showing up for the hearing, is critical for the Division of Paternity and Child Support to calculate the fair amount to ask that non-custodial parent to pay. And chances are they'll be paying much less. Some of them are paying $50. But bring in the documentation. Bring it in and say, hey, I want to be responsible. This is my child, and whatever it takes for my child to do well, I am prepared to do it as that non-custodial parent. So that bill also, 35-0226, went up to the governor. It should have gone up to the governor today. So with all that being said, I'm really excited, and I've already lobbied the governor, and I got a high five from him saying, yes, Carla, I will support it. And I must note, because all things, when somebody does something good, he planted that seed in my mind when we had a discussion at one point. And that's how you work as a team. So kudos to him. And really also kudos to my colleagues who signed on and voted in favor. And furthermore, great kudos to Miss Catherine DeLugo. Oh my goodness. She's a director of paternity and child support at the Department of Justice. And that lady is a strong woman. And she really pushed it so we could be able to have that. She said that it's an increase of persons who are not actually who are the non-custodial parent who don't show up for their hearing. So definitely I was very thankful for that. I also want to take the opportunity now to really welcome again my guest for this evening, Ms. Oriel Blake. Ms. Blake, how you doing? How was your Easter?
Didn't we all have a great Easter? I hope, anyway. A gift to be in the Virgin Islands. I was actually in San Juan for Easter, so broader Virgin Islands.
Okay. Well, we're going to be talking a little bit about what you do at the Virgin Islands Professional Charter Association. Charter and the marine industry is something that is big for us. So we're going to be having a good conversation about that this evening. And we should be able to give our listening audience some information on what you do. And I want you to also spend some time because, you know, I love young people. And that's one of the areas I focus on, definitely from my background, being a program manager, being a Sunday school teacher, being a Girl Scout leader. I really love being able to prepare our young people to do well and set them up for success. So now I know you're going to talk about the apprenticeship program and all that you have and do at the Professional Charter Association. So tell us a little bit about what that is.
Well, briefly, I thought you were referring to me as a young person. I felt very flattered. And then I remembered you were referring to the youth programs. But, you know, I'll take it.
You are young. You are youthful. You are youthful as well.
But it's the best part of all of our careers, I think, working with people who have energy and drive and their whole life ahead of them. And I think as my work with the Virgin Islands Professional Charter Association, the youth training programs has been hands down the one thing that I have enjoyed by leagues above everything else.
I know. It keeps us young.
It is. Working with young people keeps you young.
Really?
I'm not sure about having children keeping you young. But that said, you know, we started our first program in 2017.
Okay.
And we have now had programs, my maths isn't that great, but I guess for 2024, we're probably in our 7th program, something like that. Of the 65 graduates of our senior program, where we take those between age 18 and 29 through a 4-week intensive program, now nearly 20 of them have their captain's licenses.
Awesome!
I want to give you the true number. I think we're at 16. I've got 3 more pending this and next month.
Are these local Virgin Islanders?
So everyone is recruited out of high schools in the Virgin Islands.
Public, private?
100% public. So,
No. Say that again.
So 100% public. So there's already programs existing in some form or other for private school students. So this is specifically state public school students only.
So do you receive any funding from us in the legislature to put on this program? Speak truthfully.
Well, we haven't necessarily sought directly from legislature, but I think that, you know, we could discuss in the future. We have some fantastic private sector sponsors who have done funding towards the programs in the past.
Well, that's very good, and that's really commendable. And so you have 20 young people who are now captains.
Driving boats, yes.
Driving boats.
And you can see them working at a number of the Virgin Islands companies. So it's more difficult to start a career on a large catamaran than a small powerboat. So you'll see, I'm not sure if it's right to call them out by name, but Cruise Bay Water Sports, Ocean Safari, the VI Cat, Heavenly Days, they've all had graduates working in a capacity of captain and actually behind the helm of a vessel.
Oh my goodness.
And of course, as deckhands, most of our graduates are still working in, you know, getting sea time.
Yeah, of course, and getting sea time. So tell us about, when did the Virgin Islands Professional Charter Yacht Association, when did it start? Do you have some historical background?
Yeah, there was always a charter league. I think people who are born here forever have known that there was a charter league.
Yes.
It's difficult as anyone who's ever run a non-profit to maintain the non-profit in its true sense. You need to have the passion because it's not paid.
Yeah.
It's certainly paid. I take that back, but it's not, you know.
It isn't paid with the green "in God we trust," but we do it because we love it.
Right.
And yes.
And a volunteer board of directors, which have to be managed, and anyone who's managed a board of directors love them and also know that the management of volunteers is always a matter of management.
I know, because I as I shared with you before, I was the president of the Environmental Association of St. Thomas and St. John for 10 consecutive years, and we didn't have an executive director. So guess who was managing it? The board, and me at the helm driving, but we did a lot of great work.
Well, Mendon, a huge kudos to you.
Yes.
So 7 years ago, VIPCA came from the Charter League, which actually wasn't functional as a non-profit anymore.
Right.
And so there was a new board established, new articles of incorporations founded, and really it just continued that work that had been going on, and built from ground zero up to where it is today. We have 2 boat shows, a new boat show this year, which I'll tell you more about after the
I'm excited. I love those shows. I do.
The youth training program's a large part of our work, but you might have seen we've just installed 200 moorings around the territory. Well, nearly completed installing.
Okay.
Which is fantastic. So,
Awesome. 200?
so we're on 100 through the 200.
Which locations do you have them at?
Well, you would see if you cruise down the...
I need to come out and cruise down.
Right, we need to find you a boat.
Yes.
Captain's out there.
Oh, yes. So take me cruising down.
So we will have them in a number of bays where they're not yet installed, but where they are installed is day use, donation only for the payment, all the way down the south coast of St. Thomas, all the way down the, off-island reefs. If you were to drive a boat down the south coast, you're going to see a large number of moorings.
I have a friend from the Marine Vocational Program, MVP. I don't know if you are aware of them. And so I could probably persuade one of them to maybe take me out one of these days and take a look at some of those moorings. That'd be fabulous.
And only in territorial waters, not in national park waters.
Good.
But St. Croix and St. John as well as St. Thomas, and really north and south coast.
So your organization that you are the executive director of, you cover St. Thomas, St. John, St. Croix, as well as Water Island.
So the moorings will be all over all of the islands in the Virgin Islands.
All of our 4?
Correct.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible work.
And our membership really does represent all the islands. We provide access to health insurance. So people based on the water and on the land, if they can identify with the marine industry as, providing a service to VIPCA members, charter vessels, vessel owners, etc., then they're eligible for health insurance.
Oh, excellent.
And you can go to vipca.org to learn more about that.
Oh, fantastic. This is so great. I love your organization. I would like to become a member.
Done.
Okay, now, your love of the ocean is obviously a passion. It's a passion. We all have our passions, and that's one of your love and your passion. Tell us about your work as a professional association diving instructor. Are you a PADI instructor as well?
So having worked as a charter yacht captain, it's very helpful to have the ability to certify people. So I'm actually a yacht master instructor, 200-ton, and a PADI dive instructor.
My 2 daughters, would you believe it, are PADI 5-star certified. Instructors. I always, because, I've been training them for a while, so this is great. Now tell us about your work as a RYA Yacht Master Instructor. How is that? And that's the the Royal Yachting Association. Is that where you're getting your British accent?
So there's this slightly unusual setup in the world where the US has its own system with the US Coast Guard, and then the rest of the world has the MCA, which is also recognized through RYA, and it's not really a divide, but the most international seafarers have the MCA version.
Okay.
I don't actually have my US Coast Guard version. I need to
work on that.
Yeah.
That's okay. We have time.
The RYA and MCA system, you work your way up doing sea time and being a captain to gain that sea time. So professional capacity commercially, I did nearly 10 years working on the water as crew and captain, and then learning to give that qualification is, it's a 5-day intensive course where you do days and nights navigating and teaching with an examiner, and I have a huge passion for teaching. Ran a
that is fantastic. So do I. I love to teach. So this is a very intensive course. Do you also teach the young people in your apprenticeship program?
Absolutely, yeah. It's the program is tied into 4 weeks, so from June 20th until July 19th this year. Applications will open online. Actually, technically speaking, you can go online to vibca.org and click on youth training and apply now online if you wish to. Formally, we'll open the registration in a week or so with a press release. But ultimately, that's your way to get in the back door if you wanted to apply early. And we do a variety of on-the-water practical training. I teach aspects of it, but it's largely done by volunteers, teachers, and by qualifications, the Captain's School, Yacht Club, etc.
Awesome. So how many students what's your capacity of students for the training?
Given that it is not just the 4 weeks, we then mentor, maintain the on-the-job training after the apprenticeship.
You mean I'm loving this?
It's only 12 students a year.
12.
But we do then see out of those 12, a really fantastic success.
So do you have like a pool of students first? Like say you have like 20, and then you go through a process to wean out those who may not be committed. They not wean them out. Sometimes they wean themselves out, that they're not going to be committed.
Yeah, I mean, I think that really what we're offering the opportunity for is to become a yacht captain. So if you give the indication that perhaps this isn't something you're looking forward to do, it's more just a summer activity, then we're not likely to consider you. We also don't consider people who are in the middle of a university degree, because we understand your academia might accelerate beyond your ambition to become a yacht captain, which we support. But really someone who hasn't otherwise got a job potential, who's looking for training, maybe a transition in their career, certainly people who might not have the funding to otherwise pursue a kind of career development, and certainly someone who might not have thought of it before that could do with the mentorship is what we really are looking for.
Great. And have you always met your threshold of the 12?
Well, we have quite a long waiting list most years, and it's interview process that we, and there's a junior program now too, so we actually have a recruitment that can come from the junior program at the St. Thomas Yacht Club, and we'll open registration for that shortly as well.
Oh, fantastic. So tell our listening audience about the work that is carried out by the Virgin Islands Professional Charter Association outside of the apprenticeship, outside of the instruction, outside of the mooring. Are there other things that you do?
Well, it would be slightly boring to list the length, but really we have a membership-based association where people join to have the benefits of the association.
Okay. And besides the benefit of having health insurance, how much is membership?
How much for a membership?
Yes.
A personal membership, like for example, if you wanted to join as a non-seafarer,
individual,
$150 a year.
$150 a year.
And that gives the access to the health insurance.
What?
Not the health insurance, but the access, which is about $300 a year.
Okay.
A month, apologies.
$300 a month. I gotta check stuff to see if you guys offer a better health insurance.
Sure.
Oh, you have Cigna too?
Sure.
I'm sure it's the same one that we have and we use.
You'd have to check.
Yeah. Okay. So, what other benefits do you offer?
Well, we work very closely with the government. The governor would probably complain that maybe a little bit too closely with Government House.
Oh, why not? You need as much leverage as you can.
Right. So we work very closely with the federal agencies, government in all of the departments. So I have a great communication with every commissioner. So if there's a membership kind of, charter, industry, concern, problem, business that needs to be approached, it would be really well handled through the association, where we then speak to the commissioner, the governor. In many instances, it's...
So you act as an intermediary.
Yeah, it's that private-public sector connection.
Yes, and I love that, because when I worked and volunteer, I say it's work, but it was volunteer at the Virgin Islands Conservation Society too, which was the umbrella organization for the Environmental Association. We had to do that level of intermediary and the like between the some developers, the private sector, and also the governor. So those are conversations and discussions you have to iron things out so that things can roll out smoothly. Okay, now how significant do you see this group, your organization, being here in the Virgin Islands? Do you have like other sister organizations throughout the Caribbean? region? Because I know you already mentioned on the British side, you have the Royal Yachting Association, but do you have other sister organizations similar to the Virgin Islands Charter Association?
Yeah, there absolutely are. We do work very closely with the hotel and tourism associations as well.
Oh, Lisa Hamilton.
Of course.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And there is a sister association in the BVIs.
Oh, really?
We work well together, but of course we're slightly challenged on wanting to compete for the market as well.
Yeah, of course.
Our international and national representation is very much a huge part of the work that we do to make sure that the global industry of charter vessels and marine industry understands that the Virgin Islands is very much on the map to be visited as a vacationing guest or as a charter vessel owner.
Okay, time is running really fast for us, and I know you mentioned in your opening remarks that you had some upcoming wonderful events that you wanted to talk about. So here's the opportunity to do so. What do you have upcoming for this year?
Well, I couldn't tell you how exciting it is. It's almost too much excitement to contain. The Virgin Islands Boating Expo is the week after Carnival, May 10th to 12th. It's the first public yacht show in certainly the Virgin Islands as we know it, and it's the first of this kind in the Caribbean.
The first of this kind in the Caribbean. So we are ahead again. The Virgin Islands, we are on the top. You know, we lead the pack.
We're leading
the pack.
So there are, of course, not to be dismissed, a couple of boat shows, one in Puerto Rico, one in Martinique. But this is where you, as the general public, can buy your ticket online, vibe.vi, V-I-B-E, vibe.vi. That's the Virgin Islands Boating Expo.vi. And tickets have a promo code, which I'm going to give you as a secret.
Oh.
Visit USVI would be the promo code you
wow.
can use. Visit USVI, and then you're going to get a 15% discount on your ticket.
So the listening audience can hear this as well?
I hope so.
I repeat that again, because they're going to be excited to come to this. And then I'll go into why I know we have a lot of people who are going to be so excited to be at this boat show. Go again.
So May 10th to 12th, vibe.vi, www.vibe.vi, and you're going to use the promo code VISITUSVI, and you can buy for 1 day or 3 days, plus not only a ticket to come and see the boats, board the boats, touch, feel, maybe even have the opportunity to go out sailing on a boat, because we will do demo sails, but also you could buy a food and wine experience ticket as an add-on, lunch at Cutlass and Cane with wine included for $55. So come for a rounded day where you buy your ticket for the boat show, get to walk the docks, 2 free drinks with every general admission ticket, and then buy lunch on top for just $55 at Cutlass and Cane.
What?
Never happened before.
Never happened before. That's a full array of offerings for a day. What time do you start?
So 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. live music all day. There's going to be cultural performances for a large part of the day. The bar's open 10 till 5. There's going to be a huge host of local and global marine vendors. The vessels on display are by the manufacturer for sale, so you'll see brand new shiny yachts, upward of several million. The whole point is it's a yacht show. The yachts will be in the range of 80-foot, 65-foot down to small day charter vessels available for charter if you wanted to book a charter, and also to purchase if you felt like buying a boat.
This is an exciting event. We're the first and the top to ever do this in the Caribbean, at least in the Leeward Islands. Oh my goodness, I am so excited, and we are leading the pack. Our time is almost finished, and any last words that you would like to add?
Oh, from me, goodness. Well, the Virgin Islands Boating Expo, possibly upside down for viewers, is something to check out. vibe.vi, and vibca.org is where you can learn more information about the association. Vibe is a non-profit boat show that is organised by VIBCA with support of the Department of Tourism. Huge government partnership working to make our fundraising event profitable for the territory and boost the marine industry for the Virgin Islands.
Oh, wonderful. You said all of that in a mouthful. You didn't even go over time. I just want to thank you, Oriel, for being here with me and being my guest. You can always come back. I just love what you're doing and what the Virgin Islands Charter Association is doing as well. You're doing some fantastic work. I just want to also say that we have a winner for the Black History and Virgin Islands History Month art competition. And it is, drum roll, Miss Henley out of BCB, Miss Khalees Henley out of BCB, and she depicted her favorite Black history figure, which is Harriet Tubman. She is a sixth grader attending BCB, and so we're going to have that celebration and also give her her prize on Friday of this week. I also want to really thank everyone who showed an interest in the art competition and encourage you for next year. God's willing, we'll have it and do it again. I want to also encourage everybody to follow me on Facebook and also check out my website at senatorcarlajoseph.com. Our next program is on April 16th. And before I sign off really quickly, last night, oh my gosh, I had such a fantastic time dancing. I gotta say it, at with the Sorors of Mu Eta Chapter Chi Eta Phi sorority at their turning, balance, and groove to the 60s music with the Quilbe Resurrection Band. Oh my piece. I got in some good exercise, and some of our elders could really get down. And that's what I really appreciate about them. They are so committed, and they got a lot of exercise in. It was a fantastic event. And all of the proceeds that are raised at this event is going towards, again, our young people. Scholarship for nursing, students at the University of the Virgin Islands. Again, this community is overwhelmingly in support of our young people, and that's what I love to see and hear. Okay, until then, thanks for joining me for another edition of On Point. Thank you to all the persons who listened to tonight's program. Do spread the word to your family, friends, and neighbors to listen to On Point. On Point can be heard every other Tuesday at 6 to 6:30 p.m. right here on the People's Station WSTA 1340 on the AM dial. Together, let's stay on point, Virgin Islands, and God bless.